Back to the regular reviews now, and we're going to look at a mad release which is called Energy Warrior. This cover is one of only two Mastertronic games, at least on the Commodore 64, which has this style of cover. It's a very short-lived version of the MAD packaging. As you can see, the MAD logo is down at the bottom there, and also it shows that they gave away a second game with this release, Molecule Man, although that's not any kind of incentive to buy it because Molecule Man was rubbish. Anyway, so the cover's quite nice. It's got the Energy Warrior logo and a bloke shooting who's wearing a space suit and some spaceships in the background. Spine mentions both games that are available there. Again, Molecule Man, not really a unique selling point. And the back cover has got a lot of reflection on of my jumper. There we go, that's better. And the back cover's got some screenshots. Looks to be some kind of scrolling space shoot 'em up, and a bit of blurb in a very minuscule font that I can't focus in on. There we go. Basically, you've got to save the environment by shooting people or some nonsense. And inside we've got the instructions in a similarly minuscule font. I'll try and focus in on them. In the year 2079, the Earth is a blackened wreck. Blah 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 blah. Gameplay. You're responsible for 3 regions: forest, oceanic islands and rocky desert. Oh, this is really difficult to read and focus on. Basically there's some aliens. I think basically you just got to shoot stuff. I can't really be bothered to read it. Inside it's a bit easier to read because it's black on white rather than white on black. So it tells you about your craft, the controls, various nicely drawn icons there or images of things to kill, and more there. And it's also got the instructions for Molecule Man, which we don't care about because it's dreadful, and the loading instructions. So here's the title screen, and the first thing you can note is the game's not actually called Energy Warrior, it's just called Energy, and it's got some nice music and a nice sort of fireworks kind of effect going on. And as you can see from the scrolling message there, this is actually the second game in a row that's programmed by Andrew Routledge, who did 180, my last review. Some other information there about who's done the sound and so on. So quite a nice title screen. Let's get on with the game. And as you can see, it's a scrolling shoot 'em up, although I haven't actually done any shooting yet. There you go, that was a bit of shooting. It's kind of Defender style in that you can move left and right along the landscape, and if you go for a certain amount of distance you actually just bounce off an invisible force field in the landscape. The idea of the game, as far as I can make out, is just to shoot as many enemies as possible before dying. And the one thing you really need for this is a fire button with auto fire, because if you hold the fire button down, nothing happens and you have to keep hammering the fire button. So in a moment I'm going to actually switch over to my zip stick, which has got auto fire on, because otherwise I'm just going to get thumb and arm ache. Little note about the graphics first of all, which are very nice. There's some nice parallax scrolling. As you can see, this landscape in the front's moving at a different pace to the one in the background, which is quite cool. You can fly in front of the landscape there. So a bit of depth to the gameplay area, and also all the enemies are very nicely drawn. The explosions are nicely drawn. Got this sort of sprite overlays which make everything look quite nicely defined. Yeah, there's a lot of bouncing blobby things bouncing around basically. And the idea of the game, as I said, is just shoot as much as you can and then progress to the next level, although there doesn't seem to be any obvious point at which you do progress. So I've now switched to the zip stick, which means a bit more clicky micro switches but a lot more easy for firing, and I've now got this dragon thing buzzing around the screen which I'm trying to shoot. You have to shoot the head of it, and when you do you get this icon appear on the screen which gives you various things to pick up. Don't know which one I picked up there, to be honest, because it was flashing really quickly. One of them is a key which sends you to a different level. Hopefully that'll come around again. because it is a bit boring flying around this level backwards and forwards, pretty as it may be drawn. As you can see, I've now got an army of flashing skulls coming towards me as well. And there's not much more to say really. It's kind of nicely put together, you know, sounds pretty decent. The graphics are all very nicely done. You know, movement of the ship's quite cool, but it's just kind of boring, to be honest. Ooh, something ominous has appeared here. There's an ominous sound, but I don't know what it's being ominous about. Oh, okay. There's some kind of... No, it's gone now. Oh, there we go. Kind of spirally, circly thing. So yeah, as I was saying, it's okay, but it's kind of boring. There's only so long you can fly around one level and not get fed up of just flying around shooting the same old skull thingies. Oh, here's another one of those dragon things. Oh, there we go. Right, so I'm going to try and get the key this time. Oh, I've missed it. Ah, that's annoying. I found actually it's easy enough just to stay still and just move up and down and shoot the enemies. I'm racking up quite a nice score that way. So one thing I hadn't mentioned previously is you have got things called Blitz Bombs, which is basically a smart bomb. When you press the Commodore key, it just blows up everything on the screen. Another... Oh, look at this thing. Where has it gone? There's a big spaceship on the screen for just a second there. It seems to have gone again. It's a bit depressing because that would have been quite fun to try and shoot. No, it's gone. We've got this thing at the bottom of the screen called aura. I don't know if you're supposed to get that up to the top to complete the level or knock it down to the bottom. I'm not entirely sure. Or maybe neither. Oh, here's another one of these things. Let's see if we can use it to skip to the next level this time. In fact, let's just use a smart bomb. Oh no, I've collected the wrong bloody thing again. That's so annoying. I do think I've collected a bit more energy there though, so it might last a bit longer. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Well, after seemingly endless blasting, I've actually finally progressed to the second level, which looks exactly like the first level, except with a green sky instead of blue. Same enemies. I've got a whole new set of energy as well, which again I'm not sure is a good thing. I'm getting rather bored with the game now, as you can probably tell. The background's exactly the same as far as I can make out. The only real difference is the sky. The enemies are all the same as well. It's a bit of a shame really, because it's got the potential to be quite a decent game, but it just seems to be just endless waves of boring enemies. Pretty as they are, they all have a pretty similar attack patterns and pretty easy to dodge and shoot for that matter. I'd be interested to try and see that big spaceship again and see what I'm supposed to do with that. So here's that big spaceship again. It's gone again. It's incredibly annoying. I don't get what's going on there at all. We've got another flying dragon guy. And another thing. Oh, I've got the bomb again. That's like 4 times I've played the bloody thing now. And I've managed to pick up the key, and yet the first time I played it when I wasn't recording, I managed to pick up the key every time and skip to a new level. Looks like I'm nearly out of life now, which is, as I've already said, not necessarily a bad thing. Please stop the pain. And the pain is stopped. Substance drained. Game over. No need to play that again. I think you can see it's a nice concept, nicely presented, good sound, good music, good graphics. really boring game. So not worth $2.99, despite on the face of it looking like quite a decent offering.
If you only knew the power of the dark side.
2, 1, 0.